It's 11 a.m. here in Seoul. I'm Oh Seong at the Arirang News Center. We're breaking into our regular programming to bring you a live briefing from the South Korean health authorities on the coronavirus outbreak here in the nation. In just a few moments, we'll cut into the briefing at the Sejong Government Complex with simultaneous interpretation available for you in English. Vice Health Minister Kim Kang-lip will be briefing us on the coronavirus situation here in South Korea, filling us in on the number of new infection cases seen as of midnight and what kind of efforts the government is making to contain the virus, particularly with the spurt of cluster infection cases seen in recent days here in the capital area. In the last couple of days, we've seen the number of infection cases continuously shoot up due to some cluster infections. The Vice Minister has now taken to the podium and it looks like the briefing is just about to begin.
Let us now begin our regular briefing for August 18th, Tuesday. As of today midnight, we have a total of 235 new local infections, and we have seen triple-digit numbers for 3 straight days. And here in the Seoul city, we have 131, and Gyeonggi-do province has 52 new cases, and a total of 183 if you combine the two, and we are continuously seeing increase of the confirmed cases. The infection stemming from a church is now spreading to other churches, multi-use facilities, and call centers, as well as other venues. And we believe that these are the initial signs of the widespread cluster infection. And moreover, we believe that there are high risks of infection, especially for the Sarangjeil Church, and we are carrying out tracing and testing as well. And as of today midnight, we have about 4,000 people who are put on list, and we have about 3,000 people on self-quarantine, and about 2,500 have been tested. And out of them, a total of 381 people have been confirmed to have contracted the virus, and the infectious rate now stands at a whopping 15%. However, there are still 590 people whose names and their contacts are not identified, and we also have about 200 people who are not being reached right now. So with the help of the police, we are trying to track down all of these 800 people, and we are going to put them on fast self-quarantine as well as testing as well. And we ask all of the church members to get tested as soon as possible, and please go on self-quarantine if you are a member of this specific church. And especially the members of this church are dispersed throughout the country, and they are also attendees of other churches as well, and we are highly concerned of a further outbreak, and we have confirmed that about 75 cases have been also reported at other regions and provinces, and therefore the government is exerting our full efforts to track down these patients. And on top of the cooperation given by the Christians here in the country, they have also issued a special statement yesterday, and the government will also continue to cooperate with the religious circles, especially the church, and we will also come up with diverse measures to strengthen the quarantine measures. Meanwhile, among the confirmed cases, we have confirmed that the cases of the Seoul Church have attended the demonstrations, and at least 10 of them have went to the demonstrations at the Gyeongbokgung area and the Gwanghwamun area on the 8th and 15th of August for the demonstrations and rallies. And we have grave concerns about the virus spreading further. And if you have went to these rallies and demonstrations, and if you show symptoms like fever and other types of respiratory symptoms, please get tested as soon as possible. In Seoul and Gyeonggi-do province, we are seeing a high increase of the number of cases, and the government is also preparing our utmost efforts to prepare hospital beds. Among the ICU in these regions, there are about 85 hospital beds that could administer new patients, and about 51% of them are in operation. So we still have some room as for the intensive care units. And also as for the hospital beds in the Seoul area, about 1,400 of them, there are about 660 beds available for patients, and we have also have an availability of 50%. And as for the live treatment centers that are tailored for asymptomatic patients as well as those with light symptoms, there are about 440 rooms available, and currently we have about 370 rooms available. And also there is another separate room for a separate center distinguished by the Seoul Metropolitan City, and we have about 430 rooms available there. And starting from tomorrow, we will have a special live treatment center in the Taening Sports Training Center, and we will also cooperate with the local government to prepare more live treatment centers going forward. The government will prepare our utmost efforts starting from the initial stages, and all of the light symptom patients will be administered to the live treatment centers, and other patients will also be dispatched and transported directly to the hospital depending on their severity of conditions. And next, we have some updates on the negotiations with the country's doctors. And the Korean Medical Association has requested a strings of dialogue with the Health Ministry, and the Health Ministry also expressed positively about this request, and we also welcome such a request, and we believe that we share the same view in the need to solve any issues that we have at hand with dialogue and negotiations. We will make sure that we can engage in dialogue as soon as this week, and the government will engage in candid talks going forward with the medical circles. We will have diverse options available on the table, and the government will also listen to the opinions of the medical staff members in earnest, and we will also exert our full efforts to resolve any of the issues at hand. And we will also make sure that we will move forward towards a brighter future where the Health Ministry and the doctors as well as the public could also be prosperous, and we could also reap benefits. And if we cooperate going forward, I believe that this crisis could also be overcome very soon. This week have seen a great increase of the confirmed cases, and it will be a very critical juncture where to determine whether the metropolitan outbreak could lead to other areas as well. And during our past months of battling against the COVID-19, of course, we have a higher capacity for the medical sectors to deal with the virus. However, we cannot become complacent. We ask for the participation and cooperation by the public, because this is the most essential solution in containing the virus going forward, especially for the residents living in Seoul area and Gyeonggi-do province. Please consider this as a serious issue, and please, for the next 2 weeks, please only make essential visits outdoors. If there are not essential, like going to offices and also hospitals, please refrain from going outdoors. Please note that in the metropolitan area, you could be exposed to the virus at any time, at any place. So always wear your face mask and always refrain from going to crowded spaces. And also, please do not organize any gatherings of more than 50 indoors and also more than 100 outdoors. In the Seoul and Gyeonggi-do province, all of the public officials as well well as many companies, including SK, KT, and Kakao and Naver. Many of the companies have switched to a work from home scheme, and they have also participated in reducing the number of congestions for commute. Right now, we are in need of a very bold and swift action, or else we will be facing grave issues going forward, and the government will mobilize all of the resources available, and we will make sure that we protect the lives of the citizens. We ask the individual members to also exert their full responsibility and please cooperate with the government going forward in carrying out quarantine practices. Up until now, we had diverse issues of crises. We have gone through difficulties. However, we have mustered our strength and overcome these situations accordingly. Together with the public, we will be exerting our full efforts to overcome as well. Thank you very much.
That was Vice Health Minister Kim Gang-lip, who we just heard from. He updated us on the latest infection cases here in the country. There are an additional 246 infection cases here in South Korea overnight, and that brings the total accumulated number of cases to 15,761. There was also one additional death, bringing the total death toll to 306. Well, that wraps up our coverage of this morning's briefing. We'll be back with our regular newscast at noon Korea time. Bye for now.